incredible and you're going to love it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So here we are.
Here we are, and we were just sitting here trying to figure out exactly how long we've known each other, and we think it is just under 5 years.
Just under 5 years.
Which is pretty amazing, because that's not just a good chunk of time, it's a good chunk of life and a good chunk of a career. So we have watched each other change and grow and become different people and different writers, and that's really exciting.
It is really exciting. It is, I mean, gosh, a lot happens in 5 years. I mean, how many, that's what, 3 books for you?
3 books for me, probably like 52 books for you.
I don't know how many books that is for me because I've lost track. I'm counting. It's like, wait, is that 15? No, that's 19. Is that 20? No, it's 19. That's my 19th book.
Yes. And Lie to Me, which is the book that we are here to talk about, which is amazing, was not even a twinkle in your eye at the point that we met.
No,
and that's
not at all.
Really, really exciting.
Yeah.
And it also gets us to our point, because I have some questions for you before we
do the official. Okay.
Yes, because I have a very unique perspective. I knew you as you were writing this book, and we talked quite a bit while you were writing it, the unique challenges. So I have seen behind the curtain the entire time. And knowing that, I want to know a couple things. Your book, Lie to Me, is about a marriage in disarray. And the main characters are Ethan and Sutton. Married couple, very complex. They have a number of issues. And they can be not the most likable people in the world.
Absolutely.
But these are your people, and you made them. So I want to know, what is your favorite thing about Ethan, and what is your favorite thing about Sutton?
I really like Ethan's floppy hair. He kind of has.
Within pages of beginning this book, there is a malicious, unknown narrator, and there's a body.
There is.
I think to use either of those techniques is shocking to the reader. To use both suggests a special kind of narrative. So what I want to know is how difficult it was for you to create this very complex, twisted, non-linear timeline.
Very non-linear timeline.
And did you enjoy the process?
It almost killed me, probably 8 or 9 times, as you can attest to.
I can attest to that, and I'm familiar with that feeling as well.
Yeah. It was a very difficult book to write. It was a very difficult narrative structure. I went 2 or 3 different paths with it. You know, I had a linear, I had a non-linear, I had a switch back and forth point of views, and none of it was working. And I had written the opening chapter, and the first line of the book is, "You aren't going to like me very much." That's a bit of a risky opening, because you're immediately telling the reader, you're not going to like who you're reading about. That's hard. But I also had to have a body, and the setting for that just really worked for me. And I wrote it late. It wasn't one of the first chapters. It was something that I came back to and went, okay. I made a shift in this book to domestic suspense, domestic noir. I usually write police procedurals. Those are very straightforward as far as a crime is committed, the police investigate the crime, they catch the end, right? This is a totally different kind of book. And I was a little bit afraid. Read the book, you will understand why she was not talking. And so I made some assumptions about her that perhaps I was wrong about. I think it's just something that, as a writer, is really, really fun to, have a preconceived notion about your character and then find out that they're not who you think they are.
That you're wrong.
You're wrong. And if I'm wrong, then the reader's going to be misled.
And that's fun.
And that's really fun.
That is really fun.
That's the joy of writing.
You actually alluded to this just a moment ago, that you typically write police procedurals. But one of those points of view in this book is actually that of a cop, Officer Graham. And I've known you for a long time, so I know that you have a profound respect for law enforcement.
Yes. Yes, I do.
And I am very curious, what compels you to get inside the mind of a police officer?
I feel like they're a hero in their own right, just by getting up in the morning after what they've seen and what they deal with. And people don't realize how much on the line they are. Everything that happens, they are tortured in so many ways. And I know that there are, there are bad cops. Absolutely, there are bad cops. But the vast majority are there because they want to help and they want to protect. And when I grew up, I was always taught that if you're in trouble, you go to a policeman. And that was always the first thing that I did. I ran to the policeman, and I didn't, but I mean, that's what we were all taught to do. So it was very easy for me to adopt those kinds of people as my heroes. And, it's a very fraught situation right now. And it's something I'm very cognizant of when I write my characters, and I want to make sure that they are either so heroic that there's no question, or they're so flawed that you will understand.
Right.
And that's, that's my cops.
I have, I think, 3 more very quick questions for you.
Okay.
And then we're going to move on to viewer questions, because that is really fun. Quickly, how much of you is in this novel?
Oh, a lot.
Maybe not just a quick question?
Maybe I put a little more of myself into this. You've heard me. I did not know how to get there, and I didn't worry about it. I knew it was going to come. By that point, this book was happening for me. It was alive and doing its own thing, and I knew that it was going to work. But the very ending is a little bit different than the very original ending, because we needed something a little more ambiguous.
Yeah.
It might have been too happy of an ending to start with.
Yeah.
And I wanted to change that, and after a lot of thought.
J.T. Ellison does not do saccharine.
No, I don't
all.
do saccharine, and it's such a vicious book in so many ways, and there's so much cruelty that there was just no way to end it on such a happy note. So
my last question from me, and then we will move on. It's one of my favorite questions to ask when I do interviews like this. What is the one question you wish people would ask you but they never do? Why in the world do you do this? That's a good question.
What sort of demons have possessed you to make you think that you could write a story and have people want to read it? I don't know. I don't even know the answer to that. I think we're all a little bit off and warped, and we have voices in our heads, and we have found a way to train them into a story, and it just tickles me to no end that people actually read these things that I sit literally in this room and cook up.
Yeah. I always tell people that I am unemployable otherwise.
Oh,
this
yeah,
is really
absolutely.
The only job that I have.
Well, and I don't play well with others. I really don't. And I mean,
I would actually beg to differ.
Well,
but
you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean.
Yeah.
We're going to get to some of your questions now, and this is where it gets really fun. This is a good one. What are the 3 things you want to be remembered for by your family, friends, and the people at your funeral?
For being kind, and for being gracious, and for writing really kick-ass books.
I think those have already been accomplished.
Oh, well, good.
Don't
what do
die.
we do now?
Please don't die anytime soon, though. Because
no, I don't think I've achieved any of that. So I'm working hard at it, though.
I like this one because I am a huge fan of quotes. What is your favorite, most inspiring quote?
There's 2 of them. One is from Lao Tzu.
What was your favorite teacher and why?
Oh my gosh, I had so many incredible teachers. I can't even begin to list them all. Dave Sherritt was my high school English teacher. He gave me a D one quarter, and I was so mad that I never got anything less than an A again. I don't know if it was his point or what. Mrs. Rife in 3rd grade pushed and pushed and pushed. Mrs. Sprout in 4th grade took my math book away because I was pushing so far ahead. I was very influenced by them and by the librarians also.
It sounds like you were influenced by the teachers who were the most intuitive toward what you needed.
Sure.
That grade, that year, that
sure.
class.
They absolutely, they recognized, hey, you got a kid that's a little bit different than the rest. And instead of making me feel like I was different than everybody else, they found a way to help me shine. And I will be forever grateful.
Let's see.
Oh.
Okay, here's an interesting one. Since we are surrounded by your books at the moment, I don't know if they can see. But
I don't know if you can see the
surrounded
shelves.
by your library. Do you have any favorite authors' titles at the moment? I would love to know what you are reading.
Oh, so I am completely and utterly obsessed with Sarah Moss right now, who is so incredibly good. Kendar Blake. Kendar Blake. Three Dark Crowns. One of the most original books I have ever read.
I have it,
and the
I've
new
not started it
one.
yet.
The new one just came out. So as soon as I get a little higher word count on the new book, I will actually be rewarding myself with that.
You're gonna give yourself a treat.
Diana Gabaldon is
all-time,
absolutely
lifetime
all
favorite.
time. I am a huge Outlander fan. I've read the series 9 times. And I find something new in it every single time. And I find that's one of the series that if I'm having trouble writing, I have a tendency to go dip into those books because they're so lush and they're so brilliant and they're so incredible to see how a big book is structured. And she has different structures for each one. And
she makes me want to quit.
Oh, she doesn't make me want to quit. She makes me want to write more and bigger and try new things.
That's awesome. That is incredible.
She has saved more than one book for me. I need to do more Parisian books, I think.
Let's see. Who will be narrating the audiobook of Lie to Me?
Oh, the audiobook is out, and it's
good to know.
absolutely incredible. And I have to pull up the names of everybody that is in it because it's a whole cast.
That's awesome.
And if somebody could pull that up and throw it at me, that would be absolutely incredible because I don't want to miss anybody because they did such an amazing job with it. They sent me the audio files just a few days before the book came out. I was in Florida and I opened it up and I listened to the opening and I listened to each character. Brilliant. Brilliant.
What surprises you most about yourself? You can plead the fifth, by the way, if necessary.
I have a capacity for forgiveness that it borders on pathological.
We know that you write with Catherine Coulter.
I do.
And that it is awesome and you love it and that she is wonderful.
Yeah, she's incredible.
But one of your viewers would like to know if you have any other collaborations planned in the near future.
That's perfect timing. I've actually collaborated also with Erica Spindler and Alex Cava. We've got 2 short story collections out that are Slices of Night and Storm Season, which are fantastic. I would hope that we get to go back to that because that's really, really fun to just have that. Scott Miller at Trident Media Group, but you can just send me an email at jtellison@jtellison.com and I would love to talk to you.
And if you are just now joining us, if you're just popping in, JT is signing copies of her new book, Lie to Me, as we speak, and you can get your copy at lietomebook.com and you can say you watched her sign it for you.
Because I'm signing your book right now for you. This is your book.
As a fiction writer, what would be your single greatest literary influence and how has that shaped your growing body of work?
I'm a huge Hemingway fan, obviously.
And well, you should be.
I really love how he can evoke so much with so little. And that is something that I absolutely try to do over and over. But the reason that...
Ooh, I like this one. Is there any certain musical genre or artist that you listen to while writing?
I, as it happens, do soundtracks for every book. So if you go to jtellison.com and go to the books, you can pull up a book page and see the soundtrack that I do.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And I want to do that.
I'm very influenced by music. I mean, really, really, really influenced by music.
This is just tagging along with that because I've noticed it for myself. I do the same thing. I make a soundtrack for each book, and it becomes something of a Pavlovian response.
Sure.
I open the soundtrack and my brain goes, "Oh, time to work on this book."
Exactly.
And I can make words, whereas 10 minutes before I couldn't make the words.
Right. It's a way to kind of get yourself in the zone. But I'll be 3 books behind, and I'll start hearing songs and be like, oh, I know where that needs to go. And so I always keep a running soundtrack for each title. And some of them are because I'm gluten-free, right? So my hot dog always has a dollop of ketchup, a dollop of mustard, and I mix the 2 together.
No. Mustard and relish. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm down with that. But no, I think absolutely. I used to put ketchup on chicken when I was growing up. It was disgusting.
Okay. This one's going to stump you.
Oh, great.
Hi, JT. My husband has recently developed a taste for sautéed chicken livers and cooks them himself. I know that you are a wienerphile, right?
Yeah.
What wine do you recommend I leave behind for him as I flee the house until the fog clears? Love, a devoted fan who might be named Laura, and we can all guess at her last name.
I think her name might be Laura.
Benedict.
Who's in this book, and that's hysterical. I would highly recommend an Old Vine Zin would be really good. Or if it's not quite, I don't know if he makes them with garlic and onions or if he just sautés them.
Doesn't matter.
If they are, I know, I think I just threw up in my mouth a little. But I would recommend also a Petite Syrah would be very nice with that. Definitely a red to balance out the greasiness, and maybe follow with some raspberries to clear out that nasty. No offense to the chicken liver fans. Hey.
My husband likes them. My husband likes them.
You do you.
I don't eat organs.
I don't eat organs. I don't know. I barely eat meat. You're a writer. Don't forget that. You can go there and just look. There's a whole list of things that will help you get on your path. There is plenty of room for everyone, and at the same time, not everybody should be a writer. Just because you can write doesn't mean that you can tell a story.
Right.
So,
correct me if I'm wrong, my theory is that to create a novel requires 2 very distinct skills. And we don't tend to recognize that they're separate often enough. I think you have to be able to tell a story. And you have to be able to write a sentence. And writing and storytelling are not the same skill.
No, they're not.
So when people ask me that question, I tell them to study both of those crafts separately,
right,
and learn to blend them.
Learn how to blend them. It's great advice. That's really, really good advice.
How has success changed you, if it has? If you feel like it has. If you feel like you've succeeded. I know that's a moving target. It's
a moving target, and I don't know that I'm ever going to have that. I don't know what success means to me. I had a goal. I've hit that goal. So everything else is kind of icing. And so now I can worry about the craft. I can worry about having fun with what I'm doing. Telling the best story I can possibly tell. Everything else that happens, none of it matters. None of it matters at this point, as long as I am being honest with myself and my work.
That's a good answer.
So the rest of it, it's everybody defines success differently. For me, in my life, success is having a happy marriage and friends that I love, and being able to honor the gift that I was given. The rest of it is a moving target.
Yeah.
So, you've got to just sometimes be happy with what you have.
There's a song, Eagles, Don Henley, For My Wedding. May I want what I have, and may I take what I'm given with grace.
I love that.
One of my favorite lyrics of any song, anywhere, and on bad days. Everyone has bad days.
Sure.
I remind myself of those very wise lyrics.
I have a tendency, if things aren't going the way I want them to, I listen to the Rolling Stones. You?
It is called A Word on Words. I have been a guest, and it's so much fun. And if you get the chance, you can YouTube all the different shows they've done.
awordonword.org. awordonwords.org.
Yes. You can see all of JT's interviews, and she's such a great host.
And Mary Laura Philpott is our co-host, and she's fantastic. They're so much fun.
But our dear reader here would like to know how you got your start. With NPT.
With NPT. Well, John Siegenthaler was the host of A Word on Words for over 40 years. And my very first interview ever was on the show. For my debut novel, he very kindly had me on, and we struck up a friendship, and he had me on the show another several times. I think I was on 6 times over the course of several books. And then, sadly, he passed away, which was really awful for all of us. But NPT didn't want to lose the show. And they found a way to reboot it, to make it much more modern. We even have a hashtag, keep reading. Hashtag keep reading. So you can see us all over Twitter doing that. But Linda Way, who is the producer of the show,
And she's awesome.
is incredible. And she found, she came to me, and I thought she was coming to ask just advice. Hey, we're going to reboot the show. What do you think? And instead, she was actually coming to ask me to be a host.
And you didn't panic at all?
Oh, I panicked completely and utterly, and said, "Of course not. Of course not. What would I do?" But she had wise ways about her, and
She's crafty.
She's very crafty. So I'm really excited to be a part of it, and we're shooting season 3, which is kind of amazing, and we even won an Emmy.
I was going to say,
So
you won a small award,
Just a small golden statue of this gorgeous woman holding a ball. It's just
a little thing.
It's an atom, really. It's not a ball, as we all found out. Not that I'm proud of that or anything.
So, someone is curious to know if there was anything that didn't make the cut when you wrote Lie to Me. Something interesting that just didn't fit with the narrative that you can share here. Something get a cut.
Oh.
One of your darlings that you had to kill.
Well, the ending. So I can't really think for me.
But you
not that I don't
her.
love Claire. I
You
respect her
her.
tremendously. But, if I'm going to meet somebody, no offense, babe.
Who makes you laugh the most?
Randy.
Who is the most unexpected person in your phone?
Most unexpected person in my phone.
If I was to pick up your phone and look at your contact list, I would find...
Executive travel. How sad is that?
Who is the last person you called or texted?
Amy. My yeah.
Consistent. What one thing do you need to have in your fridge at all times?
Cheese.
Cheese. That's why we're friends.
Yeah.
Really, we're practical.
I know. We are practical.
What is your favorite pastime?
Golf, reading, and yoga.
Golf. Okay.
All of the above.
You have been to the UK. What was your favorite thing about visiting?
Oh, well, Scotland. I mean, Inverness. I am Scottish on my dad's side and a little bit on my mom's side, so I've got a bunch of it in me. I'm Italian on my dad's side too, so that's weird. But yeah, everything about Scotland, the glens, the lochs, that's my place.
Your favorite professional sport?
Football, hockey, baseball.
So basically you want a blend of all three sports.
Okay, let's say, what do I have season tickets to? Hockey.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
What is the last gift you gave or received?
Oh, what was it? What? I don't know. I don't know. I have to think about that. It was a notebook. I gave somebody a notebook. Yeah, there's a shocker.
What item would you die to get your hands on if it went up for auction?
The Kohinoor diamond wouldn't be so awful.
Yeah. I hope you have the bank account to go along with it.
Well, I mean, who said I'm paying for it? Perhaps I'll just steal it.
Fair enough.
I know how now.
Now you do.
I do.
You've written that. What is your first memory of life?
Oh, I don't know if it was gutting a fish, which it might be. I know. I grew up in the woods. I grew up in the woods in Colorado. I do remember my dad teaching me how to gut a fish, though. Yeah.
Your favorite movie as a kid?
Wow. I hated Dumbo. I loved Bambi.
Bambi. What cause is dear to your heart? Tea.
I take my tea with stevia, and that's it. And I brew it, and I love it.
Awesome. We are going to answer a few more questions from your viewers in just a second. But I have one little surprise for you, if you trust me.
I trust you.
Okay, so we've known each other a little while. Are you willing to open your book randomly and read one paragraph?
Sure.
Short paragraph
Sure.
If it's a spoilery paragraph, you can try again.
Okay.
But just for the fun of it, do the flip trick and see where you land and read us something from your book.
Ethan spilled his guts, and Holly took copious notes. As he talked, a text message came into his phone. It said, "Don't you dare mention me to the cop. I'll know if you do."
Perfect. Well done. Good
Surprise!
job flipping. Sign it for someone.
Okay. The book that I read from.
The book. Yes,
That's what
there you
it's
go.
going to say. It's
And
gonna
put a
say
little like star on it or something. So
I should
they'll
mark. I
know.
should go mark that page.
Can you find it again?
We'll find it again. No.
Leslie Bauman from Facebook.
Hi, Leslie.
Who's your favorite character that you have ever written?
Taylor. I mean, Taylor. Taylor. How can Taylor not be
Jackson.
everybody's favorite? Though, you know, Baldwin's pretty awesome, and Xander's. Yeah. Not that I'm, you know, saying I base them on people or anything.
Lorea Deffen from Facebook. Where is your favorite place to write?
Either on the porch or in the chair that is right over there. The problem with the chair is the cat likes to hop up on the arm and makes me put my laptop down. Whereas I'm on the porch, I can I can actually balance the laptop on the top of the sofa and she can sit in my lap. I'm shocked the cats haven't joined us. I'm actually really surprised. I thought we were going to
They're welcome.
I thought we were
wherever
going to
they
have
are.
cats, but
Yeah,
apparently
you know
not.
what? No kitty accessories tonight. This one I just thought of because it's something I think of on a fairly regular basis. What would you...
Stories came in, I decided I had to do one. But we also have emerging voices, and we have people who haven't been published yet.
Because
So-
you're very supportive of emerging writers,
Well,
which is one thing I love about you.
You know, it's really hard to break into this industry.
Yes, it is.
And I think that there are some incredible voices out there that aren't being heard. And I wanted to showcase them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, Paige Crutcher is one of these. She is an absolutely astounding writer. She's the one that introduced us.
She
we
did.
had breakfast or lunch together the
Queso.
very first
Chips
time.
and queso.
Chips and queso, as we do. So she is one. There are a couple of up-and-coming writers in here. There's some established writers. I just love the idea of putting a lot of different voices together at a lot of different stages in their careers and seeing how they all held up. And they all held up against each other quite well.
You were mentioning this earlier, and then we started yapping.
As we do.
Got distracted. But what you did in this anthology, I was lucky enough to be part of it, is you sent us all a picture.
I did.
And you told us to write a story based on this picture. And I personally had never done that before. It was really fascinating to me.
As a prompt.
Yeah.
I came from a world of flash fiction where a lot of the blogs that did this, they would actually show you a picture and ask you to write a story for it. So it's got a long history in the short story world.
But it gives a cohesiveness to
It does.
the anthology.
It does. And, you know, it's how when I teach, which I rarely teach, but when I do teach, I like to use visuals. Because I think it's so much easier instead of saying, oh, go write from a blank page.
Yeah.
Just go use your mind and come up with something. No, here's a picture of a spooky house. Set it in the South, write me a story. And it just made it a little bit easier for everybody to give them a jumping off point. And I'm probably going to do it again.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, we're about to wrap up, but you were sitting here in a room full of friends. What
Lots
do you
of
want to...
people.
What would you like to tell your friends who are watching?
Just thank you for the support, the constant, unending support and willingness to come and do things like this and to prop me up when I get down and cheer for me when I'm on high.
And write in and tell you you're awesome. With no questions.
With no questions, even with chicken livers.
Thank you very much for letting me do this. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you. And thank you guys. This is really a fun way to do a book signing, and I am honored to share your evening with you.
Awesome.
Thanks.